Hey YouTube, it's been a while since I've shown you an update on my indoor garden, and I just ran into a neighbor, and she was asking about some of the things I had going on in here, and I just wanted to give you an update, and kind of reminded me to do this. So here we're going to go through a full look at what I've got growing inside. Let's start right down here with this. This is relatively new. I just got some seeds for Cubanelle peppers and I planted them. Still haven't germinated yet, but I expect them to any day now. Now right here we've got crookneck squash. It's doing really well. It's got already several sets of leaves on it. This thing's growing really fast, faster than I anticipated. Then over here to the beefsteak tomatoes. I've got the praxis method that I'm doing with the 3 in a pot, and as they grow I'm putting soil in the middle, spreading them out and letting roots grow on the stems, and I'll explain a little bit more about that at a later time, but I'm trying that method out this year and it seems to be doing really well. Next, let's move over here. I've got cilantro in this pot, or this cup rather. I've got a few right here, what's called yellow multiflora tomatoes. I need to, I'm going to pull 2 of those out here shortly. Some more cilantro there. And then this is a lemon tree that has not sprouted. I planted some lemon seeds not too long ago, and I'm kind of hoping they'll sprout. Over here, these 2 are Shirazi tobacco. Have not had any luck with them sprouting. Matter of fact, I'm about to dump the soil out of those cups because it's been about a month and nothing's happened on them. So I'm kind of doubting that anything will. This next cup right here, this is tomatillo, and I've got several grown in here. I'm gonna pull probably these 2 out and just leave this third stronger one right here. Back in the back there, some more cilantro, and then all these cups right here, I don't know if you can see that, but they're all sitting in a bigger pot which has 3 black Krim tomatoes in it. But I've never tried the black Krim variety. Heard they're really good, so I wanted to try those out. Same thing with the tomatoes right there. If you can see, I know that light's on, probably blinding y'all, but right here, these are all black Krim tomatoes as well, and won't be long till I'm planting those outside. Alright, some bad news on this. This was my poinsettia. If you'll remember, I did the after Christmas I took my poinsettia that I got, chopped all the leaves off and everything, and transplanted it. Well, then I did something stupid the other day, and I left it outside. I took it outside to show someone, left it outside, and it died because it got too cold. And I kind of was hoping that if I chopped everything off, maybe it would come back, but it doesn't look like it, so I'm about to have to get rid of that. That's sad because I was looking forward to leaving that up for next Christmas season. Well, anyway, next on the tour here, we've got this. This is a homestead tomato. Let me try and get some light in there. A homestead tomato, and this is another sad thing because this tomato has actually been the same size now for it seems like a month. It hasn't grown at all, and it's doing this weird thing where it's, let me see if it can focus here, where the leaf and the stem's kind of curling around, and I don't know if that's stunting its growth or what, but it hasn't grown at all really, and that's kind of sad. And then next thing I have just sprouted the other day. If you can see it in the back there, the back of that cup, and that is a Thessaloniki tomato. I got a lot of these seeds that I'm showing you from Ray over at the Praxis channel, and planted those. So that's where I got a lot of these seeds from. This is my pineapple. Probably about a month and a half ago, I bought a pineapple at the store and brought it home, cut or twisted the top off, planted it. It was on the edge of life or death for probably about a month, and decided I was going to just the other day just stick a shovel down, kind of carefully pull it out, and it was growing had some substantial roots on it. So I left it. It's been a few days since then, and down in the middle you can see some new growth coming out, whereas all this before, all this other growth was kind of dying off, and I've kept cutting it and everything, but all the leaves were turning brown. But new growth in the middle, which is a good sign, which means I think it's going to make it. We've got garlic. These are garlic plants back here. Don't really know how they're doing. I've been kind of eating some of the garlic scapes on it. They've been, really flavorful and everything, but I don't know how much of a bulb I'm going to get on these things, because they kind of came up close to the edge of the pot, and one of them has already died off, so I'm not really sure how I'm doing with those, but only time will tell. This other plant is my aloe. Just probably 2 or 3 days ago, I transplanted it into a slightly larger pot. It was significantly root bound, but I mean, it seems to love this. I put a mixture of potting topsoil and vermiculite in that, and it seems to be doing really, really well. So this is what I've got, and this is kind of my main growing area right here. Now, let me take you over to another section of my office here and show you what. Well, first of all, these are pearl onions. Doing really well. Let me bring you in close here. You can see some of the bases on these things are getting pretty thick. Still not quite the pearl onion size, but getting pretty thick nevertheless. In this cup, I've got pepperoncinis. Got these from Shane over at the Gardener 3434 channel. He sent me peppercini seeds, and I'm excited about growing these things. I want to make some pickled pepperoncinis this year. And the other thing I forgot to show you was these green onions. The green onions, really slow growers. I'm very surprised how absolutely slow these things are. Got some more pepperoncinis right here. This is another lemon tree that hasn't sprouted. And then this is another peppercini also. So several peppercini plants. Let me take you on over now to the other section of my indoor grow room and show you what I've got going on here. This is my grow box that I'm using. I've got a couple bulbs on here, and what I've got, this one is a cucumber. I'm going to do a bunch of cucumbers outside, and I'll show you some videos on those. Cucumbers is something I've really grown well over the past few years. But I'm going to start one plant inside. I started one plant inside, and the rest I'm going to start from seed outside. Next we've got broccoli, and broccoli right here, and then cabbage over here. Doing pretty well. I'm going to try and grow these inside this year. I'm not going to take them outside. See how well I can grow broccoli and cabbage inside. Just because I want to save the space, and I have a lot of cabbage moths that lay those stupid worms that eat all my cabbage and everything. So I'm going to try and just leave them inside. Next, all these. Whoops, sorry for the camera shake there. All of these plants in here, these are all jalapenos. I'm really wanting to do some pickled jalapenos this year, so obviously I've started a whole bunch of jalapeno plants, and that way I can get get a whole bunch of jalapenos. Next thing I've got, let me get back in the light here, cherry tomato. Just planted the seed not too long ago, hadn't germinated yet, but I've got a cherry tomato on the way. I wanted to show you this here. This little tiny seedling here, that is a strawberry. I planted from seed. I know a lot of you will plant the strawberries from the roots that you buy, but I just happen to have some strawberry seeds that I got from somewhere. I think from like Target or something, that they're selling like these little tiny pots. You can see how small that pot is. Planted probably 6 or 8 seeds in there. 2 came up, 1 died, and that's the only one's left. It hasn't really gotten any bigger. It just kind of stayed that same size. So I don't know what it's going to do. We'll see, but it's not really done anything in the last several weeks. Over here, a couple more jalapenos. That far one right here, just came up not too long ago. I don't know if you can even see it in there, but that's another peppercini as well. I've got the light with the socket adapter on it, and this is some more tomatoes, and this variety is a beefsteak. So I'm actually growing, I think it's 6 different varieties of tomatoes. I've got the beefsteaks, I've got the black Krim, I've got the Homestead, the yellow multiflora, and the Thessaloniki. I don't even know how many I just said, but I think it's 6 total varieties I'm growing. Oh, and the cherry tomato as well. And hopefully I got one more coming on the way, I hope. Last thing I want to show you on this tour, I've turned my desk. This is where I normally did some work, from my my job. I do some work on the desk, but I turned it into a kind of a planting station. I got a pot where I mix my soil and my vermiculite in this pot, and before I transfer it over. This large planter here, I planted some carrots, just regular Nantes carrots on this side, and Nantes scarlets on this side, and haven't come up, haven't germinated yet. It was about maybe 2 weeks ago that I planted them, and still nothing. So I don't know if they're even going to do anything or not. So, and one last thing. I did want to show you. I showed you the plants in here, but I wanted to show you the actual setup. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn some of these lights off. There we go. All right, and what you can see is this bulb that I have in here is just a standard 100 watt equivalent CFL bulb. Because people have been asking me about what kind of bulbs I'm using to grow. I've got the splitter on this one. I've got 2 bulbs over there. I've got one 100 watt here. Got one 100 watt over the pearl onions, and then I've got a couple more over on the other side of the room over there. In addition to that, I've got these big monster bulbs here, and these are golly, I think they're 300 watt equivalent CFL bulbs. And you can see that, I mean, compared to the 100s, there's a 100, there's a 300. And you can just see how much of a monster that thing is. I mean, it's huge. It puts out a lot of light. I've got one of those over here, and then I've got one over I call it my seed incubator, but I've got one over that as well. So, and that's basically the only lights. I mean, there's no special lights. They're just normal light bulbs. They don't have to have any kind of special thing. Generally, you got the ones that are the soft white, and then which I guess is this one here, puts that kind of a red hue to it. And then you've got the daylight bulbs, which is more of a blue or a white hue to it. A lot of people say that the daylight or the higher Kelvin rating bulbs are a little bit better. I couldn't find them in the larger 300 watts in the stores. I know you can order them online, but that's what. So I kind of got the small bulbs in the higher Kelvin, the large bulbs in the lower Kelvin. That way I covered the full range of this full spectrum of light. But nothing special. Just the only reason I did that is just I couldn't find the other ones, so it's not a big deal. But if you have any questions or want to see anything else, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to help you out, and happy gardening.